Most people quit long before they're actually done. They stop when it hurts, when they're tired, when the work feels impossible. But that moment, the point when your body screams, when your mind begs to stop, that's not your limit. That's only about 40% of what you're capable of. That's the truth no one wants to face. You think you're done, but you're nowhere near empty. You've got 60% left sitting in the tank, untouched, untested, waiting for someone strong enough to go find it. Most people will never see it because they back off when life starts to bite back. They choose comfort over growth, relief over resilience. But the ones who push past that wall, they find something the rest of the world never will, the real version of themselves. The 40% rule isn't about numbers. It's about mindset. It's about understanding that your mind is the real limiter, not your body. When you think you're finished, your brain is just trying to protect you. It's whispering, stop now. This is dangerous. When in reality, you've barely scratched the surface of your true capacity. That's when you have to override the system. You've got to say, no, we're not done yet. And then you move, you keep going. You prove that pain isn't your enemy. It's your compass. It's showing you where your potential lies. Every time you hit that wall, you're being invited to level up. But that invitation comes wrapped in struggle. The only way to grow stronger is to suffer with purpose. That's what separates the average from the exceptional. When most people slow down, you speed up. When most people quit, you go another round. That's how you build a calloused mind, by refusing to back down when everything inside you says stop. The 40% rule isn't just about running an extra mile or pushing through a workout. It's about life. It's about your relationships, your goals, your dreams. It's about how you show up when no one's watching. When you're tired, when it's inconvenient, when nothing seems to be working, that's when it matters most. That's when you have to remind yourself, I'm not done yet. You see, greatness doesn't live in the first 40%. Anyone can do that part. Greatness lives in the pain zone, the place where most people give up. That's where your character is built, where your discipline sharpens, and where you start becoming unstoppable. So the next time you feel like quitting, don't. The next time your mind says, that's enough, remind yourself, you're only at 40%. You've still got more to give, more to fight for, more to prove. Push harder, dig deeper. Go past the limit that fear built around you. Because when you finally reach that place where you thought you had nothing left, that's where you'll meet the person you were meant to become. You're not done yet, not even close. Keep grinding, keep pushing, keep going until the voice in your head that says stop gets drowned out by the one that says bring it on. Most people spend their whole lives operating at 40%. That's the truth no one wants to hear. You hit a wall, you get tired, and your mind starts whispering, that's it, I've had enough. But here's the reality. That wall you just hit isn't the end. It's the beginning. That's where growth lives. That's where you find out who the hell you really are. The 40% rule isn't some motivational slogan. It's a mirror. It forces you to face the gap between where you stop and where your potential actually starts. When you feel broken, when you're gasping for air, when your body screams to quit, you're only 40% done. That means 60% of your power is still sitting there, untouched. That 60% is the version of you the world has never seen. But here's the problem. Most people will never meet that version because they stop when it hurts. They stop when things get uncomfortable. They stop the second the road gets steep. The truth is, your mind is built to protect you from pain, not to push you toward greatness. It lies to you every day, saying, you're tired, you've done enough, take it easy. And if you believe that voice, you'll spend your entire life living at 40%, never testing your limits, never touching your potential, never discovering the person you could have become. Pain isn't the enemy, it's the door. Every time you hit that point of exhaustion, you've got two choices, quit or keep moving. And the ones who keep moving are the ones who grow. That's how you build calusas on your mind, by doing the things you don't want to do, by pushing through the discomfort, by proving to yourself that you're tougher than your excuses. When you embrace pain instead of running from it, you stop being a victim of your emotions and start becoming the commander of your life. The 40% rule doesn't just apply in the gym or on the track. It applies everywhere. It's the same rule for your career, your goals, your relationships, your dreams. When you think you've done all you can, when you think there's nothing left to give, that's when the real work starts. That's when you dig deep. That's when you find the drive that can't be taught, only forged. Most people want success without sacrifice, want strength without struggle. They want results without resistance. But it doesn't work that way. You don't get stronger by staying comfortable. You get stronger by choosing to stay in the fight when your mind says, stop. Every rep past exhaustion, every mile past pain, every day you show up when it would have been easier to quit. That's where greatness is built. The 40% rule is about conditioning your mind to go beyond the point of comfort. When you feel like stopping, you don't. You tell yourself, I'm just getting started. You learn to lean into the discomfort because you know that's where the growth is. You start to crave that moment when everything in you wants to quit, because that's when you know you're getting better. Here's the truth. Most people live their lives avoiding that moment. They live soft. They play safe. They never push past the mental barrier that separates average from unstoppable. And then they wonder why nothing changes. You can't talk your way into strength. You can't wish your way into discipline. You have to earn it every single day. You earn it when you're out there in the cold at 5 a.m. when no one's watching. You earn it when you fail and get back up. You earn it when you stop listening to that weak voice that says, I've had enough, and replace it with one that says, try me. That's what the 40% rule is about. Killing that voice of limitation and replacing it with a new one that says, you're not done yet. Because here's the secret. You are capable of far more than you think. Your limits aren't real. They're self-imposed. The mind quits long before the body does. Every time you override that mental barrier, you build mental armor. You start rewiring your brain to understand that pain isn't the end. It's information. It's telling you that you're stepping into the zone where transformation happens. And if you can live in that space, that uncomfortable, painful, exhausting space, you'll start seeing results that most people can't even imagine. Because most people never get there. They stop too soon. They back off right before the breakthrough. But not you. You keep going. You grind when it hurts. You stay when it's hard. You keep moving when everyone else would have quit. You see, the 40% rule isn't about being superhuman. It's about becoming fully human, about using everything inside you that most people never touch. When you go past the wall, when you enter that 60%, you're not just building strength, you're building identity. You're proving to yourself that you're not controlled by fear or comfort. You're controlled by purpose. So the next time your mind tells you you're done, remember you're not. You're just at 40%. That's the starting line, not the finish. Push a little harder. Go a little further. Suffer a little longer. Because on the other side of that pain is a version of you that's unstoppable. You're not done yet. Not even close. The real you is still waiting behind that wall you keep running from. So stop listening to the voice of weakness. Stand up, look at your limits, and tell them you picked the wrong person to quit on. Stay hard. Stay relentless. And remember, the fight's not over until you say it's over. Most people have no idea what they're truly capable of. They live their lives believing they've reached their limit when in reality, they've barely scratched the surface. The moment you think you're done, when your mind starts screaming at you to stop, when every part of your body is begging for relief, that's not the end. That's not your limit. That's just 40%. The 40% rule is the truth most people never want to hear because it exposes how soft we become, how quickly we give up, how easily we let comfort dictate our destiny. When things get hard, your mind will always look for a way out. It will tell you that you've done enough, that you've pushed far enough, that it's okay to quit now. But your mind is a liar. It's built to protect you from discomfort, not to reveal your potential. The human brain is wired for survival, not greatness. That's why when you hit the wall, when your lungs burn and your muscles ache, your mind starts screaming that you're done. But you're not. You've got 60% left. 60% of strength, endurance, focus, and willpower that's still waiting to be used. But you'll never find it unless you're willing to suffer for it. The truth is, pain is the entrance fee to greatness. It's the toll you pay to cross from average to elite. Pain is not your enemy. It's the doorway. Every time you feel it, it's not a signal to stop. It's an invitation to grow. But most people don't see it that way. They run from pain. They hide from discomfort. They treat it like a punishment instead of the process. That's why most people stay the same. They never get to see what's on the other side of their breaking point because they never let themselves reach it. You've got to learn to stay in the pain zone longer than anyone else. When you want to quit, when you're dead tired, when everything in you says stop, that's when you have to talk back to yourself. That's when you say, no, we're not done yet. That's the voice that changes everything. That's the moment you find out what you're made of. You don't build strength by avoiding struggle. You build it by walking straight into it. Every rep you do when your arms are shaking, every mile you run when your legs are numb, every late night you push through when your body is screaming for rest, that's where the transformation happens. Most people talk about motivation like it's magic. They wait for inspiration to hit them before they act. But motivation is useless when things get hard. Motivation disappears when pain shows up. Discipline is what carries you through. Discipline is doing what needs to be done, even when every cell in your body is fighting against it. You can't rely on feeling good to do great things. You have to rely on your standards, your commitment, your mindset. You have to decide that no matter how bad it gets, you won't stop at 40%. When you push past what you think you can't do, you're not just training your body, you're training your mind. Every time you override that voice that says, I'm tired, you're building calluses on your brain. Those mental calluses are what keep you strong when everything else falls apart. Life is always going to test you. It's going to hit you with setbacks, with rejection, with failure, with pain. And if you haven't conditioned your mind to stay in the fight, you'll fold every time. But when you've built that inner armor, when you've lived through pain and kept going anyway, there's nothing life can throw at you that you can't handle. The 40% rule isn't just about the gym or running ultra marathons. It's about how you approach everything in life. When you think you've given your all in your work, your relationships, your goals, that's the moment to push a little harder. Because there's always more inside you. You just haven't demanded it yet. Growth doesn't come from doing what's easy. Growth comes from doing what's necessary, even when it hurts, even when it's boring, even when no one's watching. That's the difference between average people and unstoppable ones. Average people quit when it gets hard. Unstoppable people keep going until the job is done. You've got to start looking at pain as feedback, not failure. Pain tells you you're on the edge of your limits. It's the signal that you're about to grow. The weak run from that signal, the strong move toward it. Every time you lean into the struggle, you're building a new version of yourself. You're teaching your mind that you're not controlled by fear or fatigue. You're controlled by choice. The pain doesn't own you. You own it. And let me tell you something. Life doesn't care about your comfort. It doesn't care how tired you are or how unfair things feel. Life is going to test you no matter what. The question is, when that test comes, will you be ready? Or will you fold like you've always done? You can't fake toughness. You can't talk your way into resilience. You have to earn it the hard way, by showing up when it's hard, by working when you don't feel like it, by proving to yourself that the voice inside you that says quit doesn't run your life anymore. Every person has two voices inside then. The other says, try me. The one you listen to becomes the story of your life. If you feed the weak voice, it will grow stronger. It'll convince you to settle, to slow down, to stay safe. But if you feed the other voice, the one that refuses to quit, it will change everything. That's the voice that will push you through the pain, through the fear, through the doubt. That's the voice that leads you to the person you're meant to become. The 40% rule is a constant reminder that you're built for more. You were not designed to live comfortably. You were designed to evolve. And evolution only happens through struggle. That's how warriors are made, not in the moments of comfort, but in the moments of chaos. You don't become strong by avoiding hard things. You become strong by surviving them, by walking through them, by coming out on the other side with scars that prove you didn't back down. So the next time your body tells you it's over, the next time your mind says, that's enough, remember, you're not done. You're not even close. You've got more left. You've got untapped strength sitting there, waiting for you to dig deep enough to find it. Push a little harder. Go a little further. Take one more step when your legs say no. That's where the real growth lives. That's where the transformation begins. You've got to stop negotiating with your pain. Stop trying to make it comfortable. Pain isn't supposed to be comfortable. It's supposed to shape you. It's supposed to strip away the weakness, the laziness, the excuses. Every time you push past your 40%, you're telling your mind who's in control. You're proving that you're not built to quit. You're built to conquer. You have to live like there's always another level. Because there is. You think you've reached your limit, but your limit is just your mind trying to keep you safe. Comfort kills growth. It's easy to sit back and say, I've done enough. It's easy to stop when you're tired. But easy doesn't change you. Easy doesn't make you strong. You've got to chase the hard, the uncomfortable, the painful. Because that's where your potential hides. When you start living by the 40% rule, everything changes. You stop being afraid of hard things. You start looking for them. You start to crave the challenge because you know that's where the real rewards are. You stop running from pain and start using it. Pain becomes fuel, data. Fear becomes direction. That's how you evolve into something unbreakable. So don't stop when you're tired. Stop when you're done. And if you're honest with yourself, you're not done yet. Not even close. You've got more inside you. You've got more to give, more to prove, more to become. The only question is, are you willing to go find it? Because no one else can do it for you. No one can walk through that pain for you. It's your fight. It's your journey. It's your transformation. When you understand the 40% rule, you realize that every limit you've ever believed in was a lie. You realize that strength isn't something you're born with. It's something you build one hard decision at a time. Every time you push when you want to quit, you're rewriting who you are. You're showing yourself that you are more than the excuses, more than the fear, more than the pain. So keep going, keep fighting, keep showing up. Because the moment you think you're done, that's the moment your real potential begins. You're not done yet. You're just getting started.